Today, we're going somewhere that honestly shouldn't exist. We're traveling back to the very dawn of civilization, to a place built by a people who completely defy everything we thought we knew about our own past. Picture it. 12,000 years ago, the last ice age has just ended. Humanity is scattered across the planet in small nomadic groups. Their lives revolve around hunting, gathering, and moving with the seasons. They don't build monuments, they don't build temples, they don't build anything meant to last. Or at least, that's what we believed. Because on a windswept hill in what is now southeastern Turkey, those same hunter-gatherers created something extraordinary. Göbekli Tepe, a monumental temple complex built around 9600 BCE, twice as old as the pyramids, 7,000 years older than Stonehenge, and it shouldn't exist. On one side, you have small, mobile bands of hunter-gatherers. On the other, you have stone pillars weighing up to 20 tons. To build this place, they needed coordination, planning, hundreds of people working together. They quarried limestone, dragged it across uneven ground, raised it upright, all without metal tools, without the wheel, without domesticated animals. And, judging by the thousands of animal bones found at the site, they weren't just working, they were feasting. So how did a nomadic society pull this off? For thousands of years, Göbekli Tepe hid in plain sight. In the 1960s, early surveys noticed strange stones scattered across the hill. Locals called it Potbelly Hill. Archaeologists assumed it was nothing more than a Byzantine cemetery. No one imagined that something far older lay beneath the surface. Then, in 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt examined stone fragments stored in a local museum. He immediately recognized the style. These were not medieval remains, they were prehistoric. He traced them back to the hill, and in that moment, he understood. The entire mound was artificial. Beneath it lay a monument from the Stone Age. Today, after decades of careful excavation, we have uncovered only around 5% of the site. Geophysical scans suggest that at least 20 more enclosures remain buried underground. The biggest discoveries may still be waiting. As excavators dug deeper, the true heart of Göbekli Tepe began to emerge. Not houses, not graves, but vast circular chambers carved directly into the bedrock. At their center stood enormous T-shaped pillars, some rising over 5 meters tall. They were not crude stones. They were shaped, deliberate. And the more archaeologists examined them, the clearer it became. These pillars were not just structural supports. Many bear carved arms and hands along their sides. They are stylized human forms. Abstract, yes, but intentional. And covering them is something even more striking, a powerful and unsettling bestiary. Wild boars with bared teeth, snakes coiling across the stone, foxes carved in tense, elongated forms, and vultures, wings spread wide. These are not peaceful scenes. They are confrontational, symbolic. In some enclosures, certain animals dominate the carvings. This suggests identity, perhaps clans, perhaps ritual associations. The vulture, especially, carries deep meaning. In ancient Near Eastern traditions, vultures were linked to death and sky burial practices. If that symbolism was already forming here, then these pillars were not just decoration. They were guardians, markers between the world of the living and whatever came after. This was belief carved into stone. The existence of Göbekli Tepe forces us to confront one of the biggest questions in human history. Why did civilization emerge when it did? For hundreds of thousands of years, humans had modern brains and modern bodies. Yet for most of that time, we lived as hunter-gatherers. Small groups, mobile lives, no cities, no monuments. So what changed? The French archaeologist Jacques Cauvin proposed a radical idea. The true revolution was not technological, it was psychological, a revolution of the mind. Humans began to see themselves differently, not just as part of nature, but as something separate from it. To give that new worldview physical form, they built monumental sanctuaries, places that required planning, coordination, shared belief. And once people could organize at that scale, everything else became possible. Permanent settlements, agriculture, complex societies. In this view, the temple did not follow civilization. The temple helped create it. Religion may have come before farming, meaning may have come before survival, and cooperation, built around shared symbols, may have been the foundation of everything that followed. And then something astonishing happened. Around 8000 BCE, the people of Göbekli Tepe did something that still puzzles archaeologists today. They buried it. Not partially, not accidentally. They carefully filled the enclosures with soil and stone. They sealed the pillars beneath millions of cubic feet of earth. It was not destroyed by enemies. It did not collapse over time. It was deliberately entombed. And we still don't know why. Did their belief system change? Was this a final ritual, a way of closing a sacred chapter? Or was it preservation? By burying the site, they protected it for 10,000 years. And that final act may be just as important as its construction, because Göbekli Tepe forces us to rethink the story we tell ourselves. Agriculture was supposed to come first, then villages, then temples. But here, the order seems reversed. Shared belief may have come before farming. Meaning may have come before survival. The need to gather, to build something larger than the individual, may have shaped everything that followed. Beneath that quiet hill in Turkey lies more than stone. It marks the moment when human thought changed, and we are only just beginning to understand what that means.